So it's 9 o'clock this morning and it's over 20 degrees already. So that's quite the treat. So I have the girls out putting seconds on all the single hives. So everything needs to be in 2 boxes now. We're seeing tremendous growth, and with that growth we're seeing a lot of resource coming in right now. All the fruit trees seem to be trying to catch up to the delay that we've had this spring. All the dandelions are out, all the berries are out, all the fruit trees are coming out, so we just have an abundance of resource coming in, trying to keep ahead of everything. Same with Carrie and I. Right now we're transferring nukes. Our nukes were a little bit behind this season just because, well, the nukes pretty much kept pace with all the rest of the apiary as far as the calendar. So we are just transferring these nukes into single boxes right now, and they're busting at the seams. We have 4 frames of brood in these little boxes that are just on the verge of emerging, and we need to get them into single boxes just to be able to give them the space they need, especially with all this resource coming in. So we're scrambling, we're trying to get all these nukes transferred into single boxes. And we need all these nukes to be able to split off our hives. So I don't have any budget for boxes this year, so we're juggling the split boxes on the colonies, emptying them out into these 6 frame nukes, and then taking the boxes back to transfer the nukes into to take these 6 frame nukes out to capture the split. So it's pretty busy, but things are going very well. These bees look fantastic, and we're just on the verge of getting so far behind. But we have good weather ahead of us. We should be able to, if we could put in some very nice long days here, we should be able to keep ahead of everything that needs to be done and just enjoy the wealth while it's here. So I have these nukes, they're stationary. So I have 2 entrances that way and 1 entrance that way, and that just helps. When we fill these up with bees and drop a cell in, we set them out to mate, we just keep everything on the single pallet. So because of that, you can't move these around. So what we're trying to do is, as we're transferring into our single boxes, we're trying to keep that box ahead of the entrance so the bees don't get as confused when they fly back. They try to fly back into their colony, they fly back into their transferred nest. There's a lot of drift issues when we do this transfer, so we do everything we can to minimize the issue. It helps to have these entrances I have, you know, they look a little silly, but this color sure helps with the bees orientate themselves to the new nest. So we transfer the entrance to this box just for a day or two until they get accustomed to their new home, and just try to minimize that drift best we can. Medication is out. So we're going through, and well, this is a full frame of pollen. So we're going through basically, and we're counting all our brood to 3 frames. We have some stronger in 3 frames, we have some weaker. We're just trying to even out the whole yard to 3 frame strength. So we're leaving this yard a little bit smaller than the singles within the rest of the apiary. But my goal is to have this entire yard of even strength, so then we can manage them as a single unit. So all my nukes are going to be a certain strength, and they need certain tension at certain times. So I don't have this varying strength between hives within the bee yard. It just adds too much workload. If we can keep everything at one strength, then we can target our workload a lot easier. So these guys are being chopped down. I'm determining 3 frames of brood because as we're going through here, there's some stronger, some weaker. So the good even strength, average strength through the whole yard as we take and we give is 3 frames of brood. So that way we don't have any extra brood left over at the end of the yard, and we don't have any hives that are, you know, needing a boost. Beautiful frame of brood. So we're going through and we're just counting 3 frames now. Well, this hive's not actually going to give any brood. So they have tree frames, so I'm not going to waste my time looking for the queen. Just going to drop them all in. And if all the bees are in this box, then the queen has to be in there. Cap them off. So transferring nukes is always fun because this is all the work and the effort that we put into our queens last year. And it's really encouraging seeing terrific looking nests coming out of winter and progressing through the spring. This is where our queen rearing program comes full circle. So these girls were established last year with queen cells. We set them up to make us a little bit of honey. We winter them as these little nukes, and then they come out of the winter, we transfer them into our single boxes and they go into the production season. So these, even though I'm chopping these guys down to, or holding these guys at 3 frames of brood, even out through the whole yard, these guys, just with the vigor and that spirit of these new queens, they're probably going to outproduce some of these older queens that are within my apiary. So the average production within this youthful yard, I bet will outproduce some of those yards which have you know, maybe some older queens, some younger queens with a bit of variety. So these queens are very important to rejuvenating that youth, continual rejuvenation within our apiary. There's nothing that makes me more happy than looking at this. You know, nuke after nuke, box of bees. Enough talk, more work. This is the reason why I put foundation on the outside of my split box. I put 2 foundation frames because when these hives start to grow and there's a lot of resource coming into the hive, by having foundation on the outside here, it allows them a place to drop all this energy. You can see on this other side too, it's the same thing. all this dandelion honey's coming in right now. There's a whole bunch of young bees in this nest, and they got all this energy, and they're putting it into drawing out foundation for me. So it helps make really good use of sudden bursts of energy like that. So we're making up our nukes, 2 brood frames, a good honey frame in there, and then we're putting some foundation on the outside just to buy us some time if we, get behind like we usually do. So when we drop the queen cell in, we've got to give her time to emerge, go out and mate, come back, and start laying. And this brood's going to hatch. We've got to make sure there's enough space in there that when we're waiting to be able to check these nukes, that they don't have too many bees in there and they just don't plug it out with honey. So we got to have some foundation in there just to form the place to put some of this energy and just wait for us to come and do the check so that we can add some space up top. So this nuke is made up. So these boxes, right now we're scrambling because we have too many bees right now. Go figure. We don't have enough boxes. I don't have the budget to buy more boxes, so I'm limited to what I have here. So we haven't transferred our nukes yet because, like everything's been delayed. And same with the nukes, they're just a little bit smaller. So we're just transferring our nukes into singles now. And they're busting at the seams, and we don't have any boxes to put them in. We're taking these split boxes back to the nuke yard, transferring the nukes, emptying out these 6-frame boxes, so then we can transfer our surplus strength here back into the nukes, drop cells in. So we're kind of juggling. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but we're making do, and it's working out really well. Queen excluder off. So now what we're doing is we're putting on the second box again. We're allowing free roam as a queen, so once she's finished downstairs here, she can move upstairs and she can lay out this whole box now if she wants. What it is 9 frames honey box, and this just buys us the ability to be able to manage a great big single down here and not worry about confining that queen too much, because it's too early in the year to confine the queen just to one box. By allowing her up into the second here, it gives her all the space that she wants. So when this brood hatches, these guys will be moving up. The queen will be moving up, and she'll be laying a great big nest again. And if we misassess these bottom boxes with maybe too much brood, it allows us to be able to come back through and do a secondary assessment, to be able to skim some brood, take away from the strong and give it to the weak. Remember earlier in spring I was showing you these little wee nukes that had just like almost a grapefruit sized cluster. It's very small hives coming out of winter. I want to show you them now. Beautiful little brood pattern. Filling up with resource. Solid frame of brood. I'm not looking for the queen because it's too dark. I can't see anything anyway. It's a frame and a half. These guys are spilling out the front. Two and a half frames. So 3 frames of brood. Let me get this one's mostly, oh no, there's brood there. Brood, pollen, honey. What is that, 3.5 frames of brood. Boy, all these bees. So I didn't look for the queen. I gotta make sure all the bees get in there. Give them just a little bit of NutriBee, just for a little treat. So that's 3 solid frames of capped brood. And that came from a cluster, it's a little bit, you know, about the size of a cantaloupe. You guys seen it in a video earlier of mine. It's absolutely terrific. How does that work? It's crazy, man. Oh, I got 2 more hives to transfer and then I'll call it a night.